Welcome back. It's time for another quick tip Tuesday. Not even time for introduction. So we've already done a video, I'll figure out how to run this tool, on one of these Ford Escapes. I think I had a P0455 for a small leak. Now this one came in, and I'll show you here quick like a little bunny rabbit that this one has a P0455, I believe, for a gross leak or no purge flow immediately. I took a big fat guess and ordered a Purge Solenoid from Napper. It's here. In the meantime, we did check it. So you can see we've got that P0455. Completely disregard the P0443. I created that one. This is the code it came in with. Gross leak or no flow. I don't recall the situation of the last video we did because I didn't take the time to watch it. I'll post the link here and in the description. I believe that was on a V6. Now this is a little 4-banger. Similar problem. Purge solenoid starting to fail. I just want to show you guys how to check that real quick. What we're going to do is, because we have a scan tool hooked up, we're just going to hop into some bi-directional controls. Now you can do this without bi-directional controls, but we have these here at our disposal. So we're going to go to EVAP test, and then we're going to go to the purge vent control. Now we're going to take and start this vehicle. I think on our last one we had lean running, stuff like that perhaps, and these purges will have a tendency to actually stick open. This one does something a little different. For the most part it functions. However, I think what we're going to notice, or what I noticed here a minute ago when I was checking this before I decided to do a video, was it opens, but it doesn't open all the way. We commanded it 100%, and I'll show you how it might trick you. So let me, let's just take and fire it up. So I fired it up. Now it is plugged in, so we can see that this one is not immediately drawing a vacuum until the ECM starts kicking it on. So it appears to work. All right. So that's where it gets kind of tricky. I'm going to pop in the scan tool here. We want to give you the choice on what you want to read it in, which I think is great. All right. Also, evidently it is just open. The PCM is commanding it right now at 14%, and we can see it actually started to draw a vacuum. Not a big deal, okay? And if I take and turn it off, it should turn off. So I'm going to decrease this down to a value of 0. So now we are commanding the purge at 0%. Let me relieve the vacuum from it. And we can see that it actually goes closed. So that's good to know. Now what we can do, I'm going to hook up the factory. Everything's hooked up as it is from the factory. So I'm going to toggle over here. This is kind of like the purge and seal test. We're going to close the vent solenoid. So the back door is closed, basically, is the way to think of it. We can see our fuel tank pressure here. Now I'm going to got to skip past this, skip past in the speed back to purge. Now I'm going to start to purge the system. Now technically our fuel tank pressure should drop right into the negative numbers. I'm going to start cranking this up here. We're at 100%, and we can see our fuel tank pressure decay is very, very slow. It's going down, but it's going to take a long time. Now technically, you might be thinking like, okay, well, you big dummy, you got a massive leak. True, we certainly could have a massive leak, or we have a purge solenoid that's just not opening all the way. So bear in mind we are commanded at 100%. So theoretically, if we unplug this, we should have a nice bright light. The driver should be pulling it all the way to ground. So you can see that. That's a 250 milliamp load. It is nice and bright. We are commanded, at least at or near 100%. By unplugging the purge solenoid, we can see that we are holding a vacuum on the tank. A very small vacuum, but that tells me right now we don't have a big leak. So what's that leave for options? The options that leaves, purge solenoid is plugged, or the purge hose back to the tank is plugged. We can prove or disprove that real quick. We can unhook it, and you can see that we came back to atmospheric pressure very rapidly. So that tells me the line's not plugged. We're still commanded at 100%. I'm going to plug it back in. Now, with the purge solenoid plugged in, let me show you, commanded at 100%, we should have a vacuum hose or a vacuum leak that size on the engine. This thing should be hissing like there ain't no tomorrow. However, I don't feel a hiss. But so now it's drawing real slow. It is starting to build vacuum. And watch. Before, make sure I got a good connection here. Okay, so things have changed a little bit for me. Before, what it was doing, to get up about 5 inches and then it would, you know, go relatively quickly. But we can see here, Purge Solenoid is commanded at 100%, although our vacuum draw is really, really slow. So that's drawing really slow. So it has changed a little bit since I started, but very, very similar results. Let me see if I can unplug it here. I think with just the time it took us to fiddle with it, it has started to act up. So now you can see it drawing up a little bit quicker. And it's nearing its way to manifold vacuum. And again, this is commanded 100%. Technically, that thing should have, you know, should peg out that gauge. So I guess the point of the Quick Tip Tuesday is, if you're testing the Purge Solenoid, make sure you're taking the vacuum back off from it and then retesting it, being mindful of what your command is. Like I say, we're commanded at 100%, but you can see that buildup is slow. Swap it out, we'll pop the new one on, I'll show you real quick. Not really a quick tip anymore, is it? So the other thing that happens here is they will stick, you know, so they'll stick open a little bit. I think that's what we had in the other video. I just noticed when I shut this off, I should have kept the camera rolling, but this one was stuck too. As soon as I shut it off, technically it should have held the vacuum there, but it didn't. The vacuum gauge fell right off, so it just happened to be that this threw the code for the large leak, and it's just, you know, the no flow large leak can both be caused from sticking vent solenoids, or purge solenoids rather. But just kind of wanted to show you this failure on this one. So we'll pull out the intake. There she is. I always check to see if it's full of charcoal. In this case it's not. A little bit of the crusties. I'll get the new one popped in. Alright, brand new one installed. Old one's in the box. Now what I'll do, let's see, where is it? The purge hose is unhooked from it, so I'm just kind of curious now. We'll pop back in. Like I say, if we open this 100%, it should be hissing. And you hear it just open right now. Down here barking. Alright, open. The engine shouldn't like it very much. It's probably going to start running really lean. So there we are, 100%. Hopefully you can hear that hissing, but so you can see the difference how it pulls vacuum. Not rocket surgery. Let me take and turn this all the way back down. I'll show you how fast it builds tank vacuum when it is working. We'll plug it back in. We're going to jump ahead here. Oops, skipped it. Vent valve, we're going to close that. Go back to our purge, and you can see it at 20%. Look how fast that decays, or how fast it pulls the vacuum on it. So we'll let her pull the vacuum here. Close it back off. Now if we had a large leak in the system, our vacuum would decay really, really rapidly. And we can see for a hot tank, I imagine the fuel tank's probably up there pretty good as fast as it's decaying, but with the fuel being hot, you know, it's going to start building pressure. But you can see obviously we don't have a gross leak. We're going to leave it at that. That's it, folks. We're going to clear the codes, ship it down the road. Hope you enjoyed this Quick Tip Tuesday. Find us on our socials, all that business. Just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.